you've been on this wellness journey long enough. Where does sleep rate in the grand scale of everything? Be real with me.
So if you listen to the experts, I'm not one of those, but I listen to them. They rank one on this. If you want to have a scale of what's the most important, more important than diet is sleep. And I'm not a champ at it, but my sleep score is improving. My buddy Gary Brecka is always in my ear about you got to
He's
sleep better.
amazing.
He's a phenomenal guy and a dear friend of mine, and he's been helping with my sleep stuff. So we're making progress. But it's number one. It's the most important thing.
And what are you using to track? Have you got like a Whoop or something?
I use a Whoop. Yeah, I use a Whoop. I tried Aura. I like Aura as well. They both work well, but I use a Whoop now.
Did something happen?
For the Aura ring,
Was there
the
like a
Whoop.
change? Did something happen?
No, so my only no offense, no gripe against any of them. I love both companies. I like to lift weights, and the
Okay.
Aura ring when you press up weight against it,
Ah,
it's a little
yes.
uncomfortable for me. Yeah,
Someone
and
told me
but
it's more like a women's health thingy. I don't know.
I dug it actually. I'll tell you, interesting enough, I prefer to sleep with the ring. It's easier than the Whoop because it's heavier and bigger. I prefer to work out with the Whoop and not the Aura. So hopefully they can find a middle ground somewhere. But sleep is so freaking important, and we, especially here in the United States, it's
Yeah.
an afterthought because we do everything else right. If you do everything else right and mess up on your sleep, you've almost negated every other good habits you've had. That's how important sleep is.
Okay, so if we put sleep up there at number one, what comes next?
I think it's diet by multiples after that. Especially, I would bundle in fasting as part of this exercise. My wife and I just did a 3-day one recently, and a water
Amazing.
fast for 3 days. And we're gonna do a 5-day one and a 7-day one this year. That's our plan, and see if we can make it there. It's obviously, look, I'm gonna preface this by saying it's really tough for people who are in office like we are, who have kids like we do, who have jobs. Sometimes you hear influencers and experts on social, and they go, I'm on my 7-day water fast. And that person happens to be living in Bali with no kids and then over to an office. That person's ability to fast for 5 or 7 days is much easier than if you're in an office and you have children and you have life to deal with. So my advice to people around diet, and I don't like to call it diet anyways, that's probably the wrong term, but healthy eating and proper eating. Eat properly as best you
Nutrition.
can. Nutrition,
Nutrition.
always. Eating nutritiously and fasting, just do the best you can and find ways to incrementally improve. I
Yeah.
think if you're trying to, that's why you mentioned you love Gary Brecka. One of the reasons people
Yeah,
love
he's
Brecka
amazing.
is he teaches the most complex things, but he makes them simplified and he's honest with his followers. Like, I know you can't get to perfection today, so don't rate yourself on perfection because then you're going to fail immediately and be discouraged. Just find this much improvement every single day. 1% improvement, 1% improvement, Meredith, in a year is 365% of improvement. That's a
You're
ton of improvement.
speaking my language. Do you know this is my motto? That's what I tell my entire team. I'm like, just 1% a day. 1%. You
That's
know
it.
what we do a visualization when we walk into the studio in the morning? I'm like, let that old self go. Let that new come on, 1%ers, let's go. It's so simple. And especially for humans, we're so bad at sticking with things and being like really on this kind of, you know, like army kind of timeline of doing things. We can't do it. We can't do it. Even when we set ourselves
It
alarms,
creates
even when we
stress.
know it's good for us, it's not happening.
Yeah. And it also creates stress. And then you have hormonal from stress creates cortisol, and you start getting more stress, and it's harder to lose weight. A downhill spiral begins. That's why we don't do New Year's resolutions, because why do you have to wait for a specific day to then begin something? Your health shouldn't wait. I had friends of mine in October saying, "Can't wait to January 1st. I'm going to do X, Y, Z." That means you're going to give up 90 days of your life from October to January to do something. Just start today. For anyone watching out there, whatever your passion is, start right after this podcast. Just start today. Do something really,
Yeah.
really small, get a small win. And every single book I've ever read, and I've read a ton of them around just self improvement. Most of them start with make your bed in the morning. Why? Because it gives you that one little tiny win to start the day, and then you start getting a pattern of additional wins after that. It's the silliest thing, making your bed, but it feels like you've accomplished something very first thing in the morning.
That's how simple we are, my friend. As simple as we are not doing things that are good for us every day in the easiest
Yeah.
possible way. Our brains are very simple. Now listen. This is
Yes,
me right now.
I love it.
This is me
I
right.
love it.
But,
Good
you
stuff
know,
too.
actually, I really look forward to taking these every day. And I
Yeah.
don't take a lot of other things. I take a probiotic matcha, which is also amazing, but not too much stuff because I don't like to overwhelm my system. But you said nutrition is important. Now, how do these taste so good and still be so nutritious?
So far, first, can I say something, Meredith? I would
Major
hope that
hack.
you guys, and I genuinely mean this. This is not a podcast pitch. I genuinely hope and pray that none of you guys ever have to take any of our packets. Like, we shouldn't have to take vitamins or supplements at all. The reason we do is because most of the food we have now is dead food. The
Yeah.
soil is dead. And I'm sure, Meredith, you're in this space. You've tracked this before. If you
Yeah.
track food from where it starts to the point you consume it and see how it deteriorates from a nutrition standpoint, by the time you get it, there's nothing left in it. So unfortunately, we're in a place that you have to do it. The second thing is, I would ask that people get their labs done before start taking any of this stuff because you may not need it. My wife she has thyroid condition, so she's
Yeah.
deficient in vitamin D. So she has vitamin D. So she should take more vitamin D than I need to.
Yeah.
I need more omegas than she needs to. But we wouldn't know that unless we get our labs done. So I don't need to take vitamin D, and she doesn't need to take omega. So you should take the least amount of supplements as possible. Make sure you're taking the right ones. As far as why it tastes so good, we spent 2.5 years on product development. And we spend more money and resources building our products than anyone. And we've never made one of these, by the way. I'm very proud of this fact. We've never made a single product that we reverse engineered into a COG or gross margin. COG stands for cost of goods sold. So we never have a meeting with our team saying, guys, we need to make a Shilajit. And the Shilajit needs to cost $15 to make. Because the second you introduce that to your team, you give them a dollar amount to shoot for. There's only a couple of ways they can get to that dollar amount. They can reduce the good stuff in it,
Yeah.
change up the organic stuff for synthetic, or just start putting garbage in there like fake sweeteners or fake preservatives. We don't do any of those things. And so the taste is just based on the passion we have to make the greatest products. We have about 10 or 12 products right now that are shelved because we developed them and they're phenomenal, but we would lose money on them if we try to sell them. So we
No
shelved the
way.
idea and then we circle back and say, has something changed in the market? Are the raws less expensive? But we won't want, if we can't make it the way we want to make it, we won't sell it. Like you'll never get
Yeah.
a watered down Cymbiotika ever, ever, ever.
Actually, I noticed with you guys as well, you're not constantly launching things. You
Yeah.
have your kind of like baseline of things that are obviously working really well for you. Was this the last one that you guys did, the glutathione? Was that the
No, we
last
had
one?
our new creatine just launched. You're in
Ah,
Dubai, so
interesting.
you haven't received them yet. So just for
Ah,
the viewers out there, Dubai has a separate registration process for products. So once we launch them here, we have to go through registration. It takes a few months to
yeah.
get them approved into the market. So you guys will get them soon. But if you send me your information, I'll send you some of my personal stash.
Oh, amazing. Oh,
And then we have our brain complex launching in a couple of months. And then a few months after that,
amazing.
we have our MP Plus. So those are our next few products that we're launching in the next, I don't know, 90, 120 days.
Well, listen, you guys, I mean, you didn't come onto the scene quietly, and you know it's a very crowded space, but you
Yeah.
came with major convictions and drawing from real life experiences and really wanting to solve problems that you had also experienced in your families. I mean,
Yeah.
tell me about starting this whole thing.
Yeah. Thank you for saying all that because it's true. We do this from the heart and we never anticipated or expected to make money in this company. So this is our fifth company, my wife and I, and we've done well in our other companies and we've had exits, 4 exits. And I told my wife that the last company would be the last hurrah for at least a period of time. We have 2 little girls and we're very engaged parents. But then, my grandfather had died a few years before that of cancer. And then my wife's father passed away of multiple diseases. My business partner's father died of cancer in 2019. And so it's been a terrible ride of seeing people we care about pass away from diseases that we believe could be prevented. And
Yeah,
so we're not a disease prevention business, but you know who is in the disease prevention business? The body. The human
yeah,
body is perfectly designed. We're really good at screwing it up. Like human beings have become in 2026 really, really great, perfect at screwing up an absolutely perfect design. We eat crappy foods, artificial foods, cancer-causing foods, inflammation-driven foods. We don't sleep. We drink too much alcohol. Some people smoke. You have stress, and you combine all these things with environmental factors. By the way, the water is, we could have a whole separate podcast on how bad water is these days. So you combine
Totally.
all those things together, and we've taken this perfect design and we've screwed it up. And so I asked my wife, let's take one more shot at one more company. We'll never make money on it, but we're going to have something to be proud of. Like our kids will be proud of us for doing it. So we partnered up with one of my dear friends who has been in kind of Eastern medicine his whole life, and we've been friends since we're teenagers. And we started this company, and we came out swinging. The products that we made and the way we approached the business was really against the grain. We took the first year in 2019 analyzing the industry, and every single thing we did was the opposite of what everyone else was doing.
It
People are
feels like
using,
it feels like
thank you,
that with you.
thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like our preservative systems, they use really inexpensive preservatives that your body has no idea how to break down. We don't use those. They use synthetic sugars and sweeteners. We don't use those. We use 100% organic. They don't. They have powders and capsules. We use liposomal, as you know, Meredith. What liposomal does, it is for absorption. Even internally, we didn't outsource our customer service overseas where you call and there's 10,000 operators. They're here with me in my office. They're about a block, 10, 15 yards away. There's 40,
That's
50
amazing.
folks who, when you call and ask for Shahab every day or whoever the customer service rep is, you can have an interaction with that person. They know about you and your health history and your family's health history. And we have an office that we come to every day, and there was an energy here that you can't beat. So we just done it against the grain and it's work. By the way, we sold our first packet in 2019. We just passed 200 million. We just passed our 200 millionth packet about a week ago. Yeah.
That
Thank you.
is amazing. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank
But
you.
see, that goes to show your whole mindset is really no, we don't get to meet you, you know. Everything is done through screens, through layers, you know, that's how the world is today. But
Yeah.
I'm such a believer in intention, and the fact that you have put that intention into what you're producing, everything comes from the top. Everything, everything, everything.
I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No,
That's the most important thing to us. It really is.
no, and also you guys are working together. Like there's no plan B here. This is what it is. And you know, like you said, it's the last company in the line and probably not going to be another one. So it's the intention is to make it a worthwhile thing to do. When that intention is there as the North Star, I'm sure it permeates through the whole team. Like I have no doubt. I
Because,
have no,
you know, we have the best folks. We're so blessed. We have 140 folks now, and we started with just a few of us. My wife and I are partnering
yeah,
one other
that's
person.
amazing.
I was doing customer service out of our kitchen, and my wife was doing marketing from her phone. And
That's
here we are,
amazing.
6 years
Oh
later,
my
and
God, I'd
200
love
million.
some photos. I'd love some photos of it.
It's so funny. You know, one of our folks would be shipping products out of her home in Big Bear, which is a snowy mountain area here in California. So
Yeah,
if there's
wow.
snow, we couldn't send product out for like 5 days. That was our company. We've come a long way, but to your point, Meredith, we've stuck to what's important. And you know, it's been tough because when you start scaling as fast as we have, your folks get cherry picked, as we call them, by competitors, and they
Of
go to
course.
LinkedIn and give them a bunch more money and take them from you. And so it's really it's sad in a way because you came up with these folks and you love them to death and they're part of the storyline of this company, but then they go into do bigger and better things at other companies. So you're happy for them in that sense, but it's bittersweet because you lose the people that you have all this memories with. And so, you know,
It's
it's tough.
everyone. It's everyone, Shahab. I'm not gonna lie. I would love to like, you know, sit down over a nice cup of cocoa by the fire and cry our eyes out. But
Yeah,
honestly, it's everyone. This is the constant story. But more often than not, those people that leave for the small bit more either
yeah,
end up taking a nosedive or coming back or learning a lesson because there's so much more to be given out of having a great bunch of people together. There's so
yeah,
much more to be learned. There's so much more to be gained by the individuals who are there and involved and coming on that journey with you. Like I have no doubt. I have no doubt. And
yeah.
it
You know, it's
brings
interesting. I'm
yeah,
so
tell
much
me.
older than them. I'm much older than they are. Most of our folks are, you know, early to mid 20s or early mid 20s or maybe late 20s. And I'm like a father figure. And for me, it hurts me to lose them a lot.
Yeah,
But just
yeah.
like a dad, I cheer them on. I want them to go out there and crush the world and show everyone what Symbiotica is about and what our folks have built here. They can go build. I hope they built it elsewhere, even bigger, because they're part of the DNA. One of our folks is a different company now. she was the designer of all of our stuff. So our brand was designed by her. Her name is Hallie, and she, all this great stuff that you show, she designed all these things, and she designed our brand integrity. So even though she's at a competitor now, when we had our target push, I actually mentioned her in my LinkedIn, and I said, you're going to be part of the DNA of this company forever. You helped build it, and I meant it.
You're like, bad luck, babe. You're with us forever. I'm
I cheer
only
them on, but
kidding.
at the
That's
same
my
time,
Aussie
competing with us is not a good idea.
humor. No, look, it brings me to something. Look, now it's all coming out. Now it's all coming out. Which brings me to the topic of transparency. And I think that, I mean, obviously for you guys, it's hard on your sleeve. You're talking about your team with such love. It's all about the transparency. But what do you see when you look around you in this industry of wellness?
It's a disaster. This
Yeah.
industry has become so disgustingly gross. There's no other way to articulate it than just
Yeah.
disgustingly gross. And one of the brands that's our competitors now, they had 2 class action lawsuits against them for advertising products that don't work. And so, like, there's all this stuff out there, and I'm surprised in a lot of ways because consumers are so smart now and have so much access because of these. They have so much access,
Yeah.
and I don't understand why more don't use the resources. But I think it's changing, and consumers are taking the time to research.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things I would advise consumers to look at. One is the company you're purchasing sharing their tests with you, their COAs, their results of testing. That's the number one most important thing. Show them where it was tested, how it was tested. A lot of companies don't like to do that because it shows you the wrong ingredients in there. They don't want their ideas taken. But you can't have it both ways. Like, transparency is a yes or no, off or on button. It's not kind of, sort of, maybe. Either you're transparent or you're not. So put it on there. If you're doing things well, your customers won't leave you for competitor if the competitor replicates your product. That's number one. Number two, powders and capsules. We're in 2026. You got to get to liposomal. And I'm not saying because we're liposomal. There are other liposomal companies out there too. The absorption studies are black and white. It's completely clear that if you have a liposomal product versus a powder or capsule or non-liposomal liquid, the liposomal product, the absorption is infinitely higher. You can't compare the two. And the last piece of it is, whatever you get, if you get a jar or one of these, this is our own inflammatory product, we don't have this anymore, but if you flip to the back of it, just flip to the back and read the ingredients. If the ingredients don't say organic, 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 that means it's synthetic. There's only 2 options. There's organic and there's synthetic. If it doesn't say organic, then it therefore has to be synthetic. So if you're having a powder or a capsule, and you turn it around and it says, doesn't say organic, you're putting something synthetic that your body has no clue what to do into your body in the hopes that it makes you better. This is how crazy that sounds. You're going to put something synthetic in an organic human body, hoping it makes you better. It doesn't make any sense. So those are my 3 pieces of advice. 1, make sure you see the labs, test it, and do some research. 2, make sure it's liposomal. There's nothing Cymbiotika, something liposomal. And then 3, make sure it's organic. And then I would just do a 4th, just do a Google search around lawsuits. Lawsuits will tell you a lot about these folks. Now, sometimes we've had people come after us, and you'll see some stuff for Cymbiotika, but we've resolved it, and you can dig into it and realize there's nothing to be worried about, and we're transparent about it. But then some of them are pretty bad. You see, like you said your product does X, but it doesn't. That's pretty bad.
There was one that came out just this morning, I think. I don't want to say the name in case I get it wrong, but they literally proved it does nothing at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Brian Johnson posted about one of our other competitors last week and cited a clinical that literally said that product doesn't work. And
yeah.
Brian Johnson, Mary.
Of
And
course, of
yeah, and
course.
so I was really impressed. He had the guts to do so, but he went out there and posted one of our mutual competitors' products and says, "Look, here's a study that they published themselves that it proves it doesn't work."
You know
So
what it is? It's like you guys, like you and Brian, it's like this is it, like you're already okay financially, which also takes a huge pressure off your
yeah,
weight as a founder. What are you doing as a founder? Like he's in an incredible position and so clear about what he's trying to achieve and what he's
yes,
putting himself through and the why of all of that. I think
I'm a
you
big
guys,
fan.
yeah, big fan. Huge. I mean,
I'm a big fan of Brian's.
I mean, I'd love to meet him actually. I'd love to have dinner with him and just, kind of be in his aura and feel that vibe. But for you guys as well, like you're big on education. How do you steer away from the fear mongering? I think Brian as well, he does steer away from the fear mongering. He makes a bit of joke at the fear mongering, but it's clearly not the point. See a lot
Yeah,
of your competitors, they're taking that fear mongering approach. I think because it's really low hanging fruit and going back to
yeah,
humans being really bad at
yeah.
actually doing things day by day. But how do
So,
you,
edit that up.
bless you. No, but how do you
Yeah,
actually make it a policy for you and your
yeah.
team to just not go that direction?
Yeah, we talk about it openly all the time. And you're right. The
Yeah.
reason people focus on the fear is the algorithm and social really benefits that. So
Yeah.
if you're trying to trend on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, TikTok,
Yeah.
come out with
Yeah.
something bold that scares people. That elicits reaction, and then you wind up placing higher in the search engines and in the algorithms. And what we focus on is just the value proposition of our products, what they do for you in a positive way. Like reducing inflammation is a big deal. Helping your gut is a really big deal. And so we just focus on those things. We always have. We've never chased after the low hanging fruit. We never paid celebrities to post. Celebrities that are posting for us, by the way, or invested in our company, were users of our products or organically. We
That's
found out they
amazing.
were using our products and then engaging them saying, hey, you're using Cymbiotika, let's work together on something. But we've never
Cool.
paid Kendall Jenner, who posted us, Haley Bieber, who posted us, Zach Efron, who posted us. We never paid them any money. They were actual users of our products. And then we
Amazing.
wound up engaging with them in different ways.
Yeah, like once they love it anyway, they're happy to help the cause because they want other people to also feel good. I mean, the general
100
person wants other people to feel good, you know?
A hundred
Um,
percent. But going back to what you said, the low hanging fruit is either
yeah.
fear mongering or just paying someone super famous to hold your product and say, "Take this. It's fantastic." We'll never do either.
Look, then you're talking about these celebrities who are already customers, but the consumer doesn't perhaps know that. So how do you also avoid becoming elitist in that kind of messaging? Because people
Yeah.
don't have much attention span, right? They see
We've
something
gotten
and
some of that. Yeah, we've had some of that, to be honest with you. We've
yeah,
received some feedback in the last 6 months. We had our first investment round, and we brought in a bunch of very famous people, like The Weeknd and all those people I mentioned. And so we got a lot of people messaging us saying, "I hope you're not selling out. I hope you're not becoming a celebrity brand." So you're 100% right. It's a delicate act that we're doing our best to juxtapose. So when you go to our like Instagram page, for example, we haven't used many of their images because we don't want you to come to our Instagram or social and see all these amazing, fancy, wealthy people, and because they're not realistic. By the way, all the people I mentioned are great. Haley Bieber
of
and
course.
no, I'm telling you, genuinely, they're the nicest people. I would tell you otherwise. The nicest
Yeah,
people, and they're genuinely care about health, and they genuinely love Cymbiotika. But the average person can't relate to Kendall Jenner. Kendall
yeah,
Jenner is a model. She's like 6 feet tall, and she looks perfect in every ways. And she's nearly, I don't know how much she's worth, but gazillions of dollars. The average person, like my mom or like my sister, can't relate to her. And
yeah.
so, in order to design a company that works for everyone, the messaging has to be relatable. And we talked about this at the beginning of this whole interview. The beginning of the interview said, you got to be 1% better, but your goal can't be my goal. I'm a health workout guy, but I can't look at a Mr. Olympia champion and say 30 days. I'll be that guy. It's just there's no way I can get there. And so there has to be a juxtapose and a balance to, yes, Kendall Jenner is beautiful. She's amazing. She's fit and she's gorgeous and she's successful. But we have to find ways that we can incrementally win, all of us as a team, as a unit, as a group, versus these incredibly high aspirational goals that will be tough to get to.
See, I love that just the fact you're so real about the whole thing, though. You see it as it is. You're going through it. You're open about it. For me, that's just an absolute joy. So I'm going to ask you a very good question here. One ingredient that's super, super overhyped.
That's a good one. I have one for you. I have a bunch. The one
Come
that
on, don't
annoys me.
hold back. We're buddies. Okay, one that's overhyped and one that's underrated.
Okay, underrated for sure is creatine for women. Creatine forever has been a bro of gym guys supplement. So when I
Totally.
was a teenager in the parking lot, would put it in their water bottle and shake it and take it in, and it was designed to build these days. But all the research now at every level, Brian Johnson talks about it, Gary Brecker talks about it. The impact it has for women is far greater and far more important, especially women after 35 years old. If you read the data, it's really, really
I
important.
like it. I didn't find
Ah,
anything.
you haven't had a new one. See, that was a perfect. I'm going to
Good.
send you. I'm going to have to go out today. Wait till you taste this one. It is the
Okay.
most delicious product we've ever made. There's a bunch of overhyped stuff. I'm going to go back to creatine as overhyped, but I'm going to tell you how. Creatine monohydrate is overhyped because if you mix it with water, it only lasts about 24 hours before it starts losing its effects. It does not bad for you, but the efficacy plummets after 24 hours.
Okay.
So now, for years, creatine monohydrate was in a powder form. So you mix it with water and you consumed it. And women didn't like that, by the way, not for the taste, because you wind up retaining water. And so when you retain water, no woman wants to say, I'm going to take a supplement
Thanks.
so I can look a little chubbier and watery. My wife hates that stuff. And so women stayed away from it. The fix was companies came and used creatine monohydrate and made packets like this or liquid versions of creatine monohydrate. The problem is they mix them with water. And so after 24
Mm.
hours, that it just won't stay as stable and the efficacy plummets. So I think creatine monohydrate is the most overrated when mixed RTD. But creatine, like the one we use, and others use it too, we use a very specific creatine, it's patented creatine from Germany, that creatine is set stable, and we don't need to use water for it to last. And our more
And it's
shelf
not gonna
stable.
make me it's not gonna make me retain water.
No, you won't get any puffiness. That's actually the biggest proponent, the biggest point of this product. You won't gain any water weight. My wife has been taking it for 3 months and she loves it. And
Oh
she
my
can I
gosh.
gotta complain about my wife to everyone a little bit. My wife is
Yes.
so beautiful, so perfect to me. She's the most beautiful woman in the world, but she's so tough on herself. And you guys, people out there, especially women, stop doing that. Like she looked in the mirror and is like, I look chubby today. And then I said, you look just like you did yesterday. And yesterday you're perfect. And we agreed you look great yesterday. Women have to stop overanalyzing every freaking ounce of their faces and their bodies. It's really unhealthy. If you're married and you and your husband work together, if you
Yes.
have someone who loves you, they love you, and we're going to grow older together, and there'll be wrinkles together, and we won't look the same, but that's okay. It's all part of the journey. My wife and I have been married nearly 27 years. We got married when I was 19, she was 18. I'm sorry, we
Oh, you
met when
guys
we
are cute.
married at 2019. So I'm 46 now. And to me, she looks more beautiful today than she was then, but she's 27 years older because I love her. And to me, when I look at her, I still see the same beautiful woman I met 27 years ago. And in 27 years, I'm going to see the same thing. So, ladies, please, for goodness sakes.
I'm loving the vibes. I think you just got a lot of like hearts from a lot of people out
It's
there.
just true.
But
Thank you. It's true.
but it's true. Like, I mean, I totally understand your wife's vibes because especially as we get over 40, the body just doesn't bounce back like before. And it's
Yeah.
taking like if you take something like a creatine, doesn't matter how great someone tells you, and you start to puff up, bloat up, especially on your face,
You're right.
around your belly, your thighs, like that creatine is not going in your body, let me tell you. So
100%.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
right.
and
You're right.
it's just something that needs to be addressed, and I think that that's what you guys are doing head on. It's like looking at these real issues of bioavailability and absorption, and how do we make the body understand that it's food, not chemicals. These are just simple, basic, logical ways of actually getting the good stuff where it needs to be. And it's funny, there's such a disconnect in so
Yeah.
many of these companies. And if you just look at the ingredients, I mean, anybody who has a little bit of knowledge, I'm also no expert, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist. I have enough knowledge to know what can be recognized as food in my body, right? So it's it's those basic things coming back to the basic understanding of what's going in, and then the understanding of well, what that's going to do.
Can, can I
I think
can I tell you
you
another
guys
product?
are making it.
Thank you. Can I tell you another product that we have coming out later on this year?
Tell me, yes.
I think it's the most important product we've ever made, and it's probably the most important product we'll ever make. And I'll let my wife talk to you about it at some point, but we're going to make the world's first organic menopause product that actually works in liposomal packed form like this.
That's
And
amazing.
I won't get into my wife's business, but she'll share. She's very open about it because she believes that it's
Yeah.
important for her to use her platform to voice this. She's going through the process now, and it's been really, really tough on her. All the stuff that all the ladies she may had me watch the Oprah special with her, which is eye opening. As just an ignorant guy, I had no clue. I'm like, holy cow, women have
Oh,
it
I'd love
tough.
to meet her.
I have two little girls, and one of them is becoming a teenager now, so she's going through those changes now. So women go through those changes. Then
We
they
go
have a
through a lot.
yes,
You should be
yes, and you
kissing our feet every day.
it's you guys got the biggest blessing and gift at the same time. Then you guys create babies and then you help raise the babies. And then when you're done with that, you're like, I'm free and clear now. The kids are good and my body's back in order. And then menopause hits.
I know, right?
You guys, it's unbelievable. So we spent
What
about, I
the
don't know, the last 2 years, year and a half, 2 years building this menopause product. And it's in clinicals now. We send it through clinicals to get the real data before we start selling it.
Amazing.
We anticipated being an absolute revolutionary, world-changing type of event because I don't know how much you've spoken on your shows or your podcasts about this before, but the thing with menopause is there's really only one way to fix it, and that's hormonal stuff. And the problem with hormones, and it goes to your doctor, don't listen to me, but
Sure.
my wife and I went through this, or my wife went through this with my support. Um, the hormones just trigger other stuff. So they fix a bunch of stuff here, and then a bunch of new stuff happens on this side. And so we spent a bunch of time and hired the best experts in the world. We hired Dr. Shilpa, who's now our head of R&D. She has a PhD and wrote her dissertation on liposome. She's brilliant.
Amazing.
And we worked with all these experts to build this product that the world has never seen. And it's going to come out later on this year. And we're really, really excited. I'm proud of it.
No, this is game changing. I mean, now there's so much more talking about it. I mean, it was so taboo even 10 years ago. Nobody spoke about any of this, and now it's all out in the open and everything's changing and the world's going crazy. But if
Yeah.
you guys, I mean, do you guys feel, I feel like from the outside and just from using the products and being understanding the brand a little bit just as a consumer, I feel like Symbiotica is more of a movement than a brand or like a product line. It's more of a vibe. It's more of a like a mindset. I like this idea of a movement. It's you guys have started something in the wellness space. I mean, I see
Yeah.
you smiling. I mean, tell me,
You know,
why
like,
does that make you
I
smile?
get it. I get it because the idea wasn't to make vitamins. I
Yeah,
mean, anyone can make a vitamin. The idea was to change the way people looked at health. And it became a choice, a lifestyle choice versus I'm going to take a vitamin. The reason we made it taste so good and spent so much time and money on it, we didn't because working out and dieting and nutrition was like painstaking for people, and we didn't want it to be painstaking. But something that you really enjoyed, this lifestyle. For example, I'll give you a good example. We have rappers who work with us, like Gunna. Gunna's a rapper from one of the worst parts of the country in College Park, Atlanta. Tough guy, right? And he had gained a bunch of weight and he made that decision to change his lifestyle. And he started getting in really good shape, nutritional foods and supplementation. He started posting our supplements and we became good friends with him. Actually, I just randomly wearing a shirt. This is the Cymbiotika Gonna Run Club. Now he has a run club all over the world, all I think 20 cities, something like that. He's done run clubs in. So he'll have a show one night. The next day he has thousands of people that show up and they go run a 5K. And so this is all, but when you talk about movement, it's about a lifestyle that says,
yeah.
I prioritize my health. I prioritize my family's health. This is more important to me than the Hermes bag, or it's more important to me than night out drinking with my buddies. The most important thing to me is health and wellness. Now go do those things. Like my wife has Hermes too. No problem with that. But when you do a priority list of most important things in life, it has to
Mm.
start with your health. And even for your family. For me, I focus on my health for my kids and my wife because I have to be around for them. And I don't want to be around at 75 or 80 just to be around. I want to still be able to do Spartan races at 75 or 80 years old. And that starts today. If you, like my father, God bless him, he's 82. He's going through a lot of health issues now because when he was 30 and 40 and 50, he didn't take care of himself well. And now at 82, his body's given up on him. And so we're trying to get him back in shape because it starts today. Whatever your age is outside, whoever's watching this, the day you should start for you is today.
Yeah.
And if you can really just don't make this feel like a punishment. It's not a punishment to go work out. It's a blessing. One day we'll be sitting in bed saying, I wish I can go work out now. But now we're all these days we're capable of it. We're giving up the opportunity to go work out. Get up and go for a walk. It doesn't have to be a fancy gym. Go for a walk. Go for a run. You don't have
Just
to go,
move.
be the greatest chef in the world. Get some organic eggs. with some ghee and make that for yourself. You'll love it. It's fantastic. Superfood. If you're a vegetarian, okay, no problem. Have some good organic fruits and vegetables. Just take tiny steps, but do it today and believe that it's a blessing to be able to do it. It's not a punishment. But for many, many years, it was a punishment. You got to go painstaking. Food that was good for you tasted like crap. That's not the case. Go online. There's so many brilliant chefs that are making food in 10 minutes that's so healthy but delicious. And there's so many recipes out there. Just take a little bit of time.
I think it's one of the really positive things about social media is you can get a lot of this really great information. Obviously, not everything is great, and there's a lot of things you don't want to see, but you can find, especially in the food space, in the healthy food space, so many cool people to follow that have these incredible quick ideas. And I love the aesthetic videos of like things like their weekly meal prep and everything. I think it's really inspiring that we're showing each other these simple how
I
to do.
love that. That's my favorite part of. First of all, I'm a big foodie and I have a
Yeah,
massive sweet tooth.
yeah,
A
yeah.
few weeks ago, my wife came and said, "Look at this guy. This guy took cottage cheese with cacao, honey, and an egg, and mixed it, and then put it into the oven, and it came out looking like a muffins.
I
Most
think I've
delicious
seen that
muffins,
one.
with like 25 grams of protein, and the
Oh,
only
that's
sugar was the honey."
amazing. That's
Yeah, and the only
amazing.
only only sugar was the honey, and there was organic honey, so it was fantastic. And my wife made it; it was so delicious. So like, there's a community out there. This movement is real. Alcohol
Yeah,
sales, and full disclosure, I enjoy drink out here and there. I'm not anti-alcohol, but alcohol
mm,
sales are plummeted because the binge
yeah,
drinking and prioritizing drinking every night, that's gone. That
yeah.
those monies now are being spent elsewhere. So they always say, "Fun follow the money." The money now is in wellness. Resorts are popping up all around the world that they're a wellness resorts. They're not a hotel anymore. You go there to get well. We were in Dubai actually. We went to clinic and we got a bunch of work done there. That was fantastic. We got our blood
There's
cleaned
a
and we
lot.
got
Yeah, amazing.
stem cells, and we spent a bunch of time there. And these clinics are popping up everywhere. The resorts are popping up everywhere. This is a movement that's not Symbiotica. This is it's a worldwide movement of people like yourself that are driving it.
Oh, like honestly, Dubai is the place. I'm not gonna lie. We've been here for 20 years. We've grown up here.
Have
And
you?
now
I didn't know that long.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of this place and everything that it's achieved and just being a
Do you
part
speak
of
Arabic
this
now?
story. Sorry?
Are you, do you speak?
No, well,
You speak
my
Arabic?
husband's Arab. He's Arab Australian, so he speaks Arabic.
Okay.
He's an amazing
Okay.
guy, and and I think we're 25 years married. We married super young as well, and
Congratulations.
I think for us, like just kind of doing it, growing something together, doing it, staying well, keeping our mental health and our attitude really positive. We meditate, we work out, we do all of this stuff together, but it's I don't know. I don't really understand how people don't, It's like that life of not doing all those things, not caring for yourself and really understanding that movement is such a gift. When I was young, I had a really bad accident and I was told I may never walk again. I came through that. I walked, I
Wow.
did everything. I mean, that's a very microscopic window into that moment, but just for me, understanding that I can move is a very, very moment of gratitude the minute I wake up in the morning. And I think,
You have a unique
like you
view
guys,
because of your accent.
no, I think it was an amazing it was an amazing story. Like this is a whole other story, to be honest with you. But it's just like what you were saying about the intention of how do you want to live these days, seeing your parents really crumble in those later years and thinking about having a great health span. This is the word that's come out now, the health span. How are you going to live your life and enjoy the end of it and not just be sick and in a hospital or a
That
hospice.
that's the thing. I think the term longevity is incorrect. So
Yeah,
longevity just
I'm
implies
trying
you
not
live
to
long.
use that word actually.
Yeah, I've been coaching myself to stop using it because
Yeah,
it just implies you live a long time. Well, you can live a
yeah,
long time by taking a bunch of prescription medication, and it'll help you not die for sure. There's no debate there. A lot of the prescription medication will help you live a long time, so it'll give you
yeah,
longevity. But what will your body and your mind and your spirit look like at 75 and 85 and beyond? And so I think it's living well the last third of your life is really my focus. The last third of my life, whenever God believes that's going to be it, I want to be active. I want to have my
yeah.
grandkids and my little girls hopefully bring us some grandkids, and I want to be a granddad, and I want to be a dad and a granddad, and be the cool one, and be the athletic one, and yeah, we love the waters of being in the ocean, and
Yeah.
ski with them, and all these things. And it starts today. And we can, guys. One of the big misconception is you have to be really, really wealthy. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's about finding incremental ways of tightening up your health. Yes, a lot of the treatments are really expensive and stem cells are really expensive, but not all. Let's start with the basics. The basics are inexpensive. The basics are outside. Go run and stretch and walk and get active and move. One thing I'm really proud of, we're moving to a new campus. We're moving our office in a few months. The new one, we built a massive gym for our folks, and we
That's
have saunas.
amazing.
We're going to have saunas and full plunges there for them. And
How
you have to
cool.
also, and also as entrepreneurs out there, people who own and run businesses, you also have a responsibility to help your folks build an environment that it's easier for them to stay healthy. So we don't
100.
monitor our folks like they have breaks every 2 hours. We don't have those rules here. So if you look around at any moment, there are people walking around. We have an office in the neighborhood where it's really pretty, and there's walking trails, so people are always walking around. And the next office, which is right down the street, will have a similar context, but also full gym and showers and locker rooms and saunas and whatnot. So we're gonna create an environment for them and give them access 24 hours a day. So whenever they want, they can utilize the gym area and the facilities, because we spend more time together than most people spend at home, right? We're here every day.
Totally,
And
totally.
so
Well,
employers have a responsibility too.
hopefully that's gonna keep them with you. Keep layering on the perks, the gym, the good stuff. I mean, nice retreat every now and then doesn't go astray.
Sure, the challenge with a company like ours, and I don't have a fix for it, is everyone wants to move up to certain roles, but when those roles are occupied, then the people below them. We're still a small company, 140 employees versus, like, some of these conglomerates have thousands of employees. There's
Totally.
only one person who runs marketing, one person who runs tech, one person. So they hit that ceiling and they got to go. And I get it. Go and compete and conquer the world. I'm cheering on. I'm cheering them on everywhere they go.
Listen, we're into branding in our business as well. And, we're into content and branding and storytelling. And I think these words are thrown around as much as longevity and wellness and all that stuff in your industry. But how important do you feel that this storytelling part is in branding, especially today as we go through this rapid transformation with AI and all the
Yeah,
others?
mainly because, one, you can't scale a company to the levels that we've taken it to and beyond with traditional marketing that says click on this ad because you get 20% off of glutathione. We still do that. You have to have some element of it as part of the marketing package. You're gonna run out of money because it's very expensive. The
Yeah.
returns are limited, and you never build a movement that way. You get a customer who wanted 20% off of the glutathione. That's all you get. So as we've gotten larger, we've spent more and more of our money now on the branding and storytelling part, and less on the fact that you click on this to buy this. I think amateurish marketing, and we've done it in the past because we grew up in this space. We learned, right? We did a lot of trial and error. And
Yeah.
amateur marketing is click on this ad to get 20% off, 20% off the site. Why? Like these things, you have to do some of them, but if that becomes your focal point of marketing, you've missed the boat, and you'll
Yeah.
never get to the point where you become a household name. I have a buddy of mine, he used the term household name. You'll never become a household name by spending money on just ads. It's got to be, people have to understand what your brand stands for. They have to trust you. You got to do it over a long period of time, that you're transparent, and you haven't misled them in any way. And over time, then the brand story will kick in. And it gets harder, by the way, when you scale. Like we're in
Yeah.
Target now, which is a big retailer here in the United States, the second biggest
Yeah.
retailer in the world. And so most people loved us, and some people, they question how we lost our way because now you've gone
Sure.
sold out to this big masses. So be able to explain to them why you decide to go here and how it impacts the business, even though, it's really not the customer's business. But if you consider yourself a community, you take your time, explain this is why we've done this. And it's not because we've sold out. We haven't changed our formulas. That was the first thing when people saw us going to Target. We had people sending us messages, are you going to change your formulas now? Because they assumed now we would water down our
Sure.
formulas to make it more affordable for target customer. And that was one of the best things we did, was we're transparent about, no, our formulas will never change for any retailer. If they don't want our formulas the way they are, we won't sell them there. And Target's been a great partner. They took us exactly the way we were.
And it's going well?
It's going great. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
we
amazing. But
actually got an award.
like you want to take your product to as many people as you can, but then you just want to also manage the optics of what that looks like on the outset and keep your founding community with you and close to your heart. It's like a very delicate balance, really, isn't it?
It's, I lose sleep over for this topic because the founding community has been so loyal to us, and we love them and appreciate them. Without them, we wouldn't be here. They carried us through the time where no one knew us, and they were dedicated. But we have to evolve. But we've gotten big enough now that unless we go everywhere, our
Yeah.
expenses now are too high. Before, when it was just the four of us out of my kitchen doing customer service, our expenses were zero almost, right? Now we have 140 people. We have 3 warehouses. We're about to have a 4th warehouse, a massive campus opening up. Well, these come with a lot of expenses. And there's a lot of federal laws, by the way, here in the States. There's state and federal laws that the bigger you get, you have to buy different insurances. You have to buy 401k. I think just our insurance premiums now are 20 or 30 times higher than they were 5 years ago. So all of these things happen. And the only way you can stay competitive is to have your products in many, many other places. I actually missed the times, to be honest. It was just a few of us. Our first office, there was like 10 of us working there. And
So
I
nice.
knew everything about their families. I knew everything about their kids or their hobbies, what their passions were. We had lunch together. We had coffee together. Now I try to talk to everyone, but I have 20 meetings a day and there's 140 folks out there. So you lose that intimacy and it's not the same. And I don't have a solution for it. It's kind of like my kids. I missed my kids at 4 and 5 years old. And they were so cute and I loved them and they just wanted to be held and hugged all the time. But the kids, they have to grow. Now they're 11 and 12, they have their own personalities and I have to let them be them a little bit. And I can't keep them confined as children anymore or little babies anymore. And
But
Symbiotika is not,
that's
it was
the joy
amazing.
of every day. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you were saying, trying to be 1% better every day, appreciating that I can move, appreciating
Yeah.
that I get to in my body. It really is this simple of
Yeah.
appreciating
And just
what
do
you
the best you can. I think that's another, just do the best you can and be a little kind to yourself too. And running a company is the same way. I'm uber competitive and I want to be number one. I want to be the champ and all that stuff. But I don't control everything. I can't control everything. And inevitably, when you have, we have 200,000 plus subscribers now that subscribe every month to our products.
Wow, that's
It's
crazy.
Thank you. It's very impossible to make them all happy. I really wish I could. In fact, maybe they can respond to you. I've responded to many, 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 many customers' messages directly from my email. I'll see them on our Instagram, and I tell them give me their information, and I communicate directly with customers. I try to do as many as I can. At some point, I got just got to accept the fact I'm doing my best, and you can't make everyone happy. And the ship has to keep going forward because the momentum and the movement is more important than what we were in 2019.
Entrepreneurship is something else, no? I always describe it as you're on a train and it's rushing in one direction and you cannot get off and you just have to, you know, and I don't think anyone else really appreciate what that looks like. And for you, I can only imagine what this massive growth looks like. I mean, what has been the hardest decision you guys have had to make in like internally?
Yeah, the hardest thing by multiples has been around product development because as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you know what would sell if you want to just make money. We know if we just took out a few things here and there, no one would even know. If I took our glutathione or our vitamin C or magnesium and took out 30% of the, by the way, our products are complex. Most like vitamin C's have 3 ingredients or 2 sometimes. It's the vitamin C, a taste, sweetener or taste product, and then also preservative. That's it. Ours has
Yeah.
like 14 different ingredients in it that work together in a symbiotic fashion to make it work properly. So we took out like 30% of the stuff, no one would ever know. And we could sell it for the same price and our margin would be way greater. There's a huge problem, but we would know.
Yeah.
We would know. And the second you start making those kind of exceptions and saying justifications like, well, it doesn't really hurt them, or no one will ever know. Once you make that decision, there's no going back. You'll never be the same company ever again. And I'm proud of us for sticking to it, but it's been brutal. Every time we met with a private equity firm or a bank trying to get money or loans the last 2 or 3 years, the first thing they told us is your margins are too low for the supplement business. Because the supplement business is notorious for having great margins. Because people will make these capsules, mainly capsules. If you see capsules, by the way, those are the cheapest things in the world to make. So they'll make a capsule of a 30-day supply. It'll cost them $1.28 packaged and delivered for $1.20 30-day supply. And they'll sell for $25. And it'll go down as a value because our products are 40 or 50. Like, well, their vitamin C is only 25. They're much better value. No, it's not. It costs them $1.25 to make it, and they're giving you synthetic crap. And so the hardest thing for us is to not have FOMO, if you will, as the kids say, not get sucked into what our competitors are doing, but really
Yeah.
focus on why we started this business to begin with. We started this company to help people be healthier, live healthier, longer, happier lives. And we haven't diverted from that. And it's been tough. And it's every day. It's every single day, Meredith, someone will come up to me and say, did you see so-and-so company? They launched XYZ at this price point. And then we'll look at it and say, look, because of these reasons, we could do the same thing, but we're not going to.
I mean, that's really the only story that you guys need to tell, you know? I mean, what's it like working with your wife?
Terrifying? No, can you edit that? No, she's the best. It's my favorite part of my job is we have the same pattern. We drop our kids off in the morning at school, then come straight here together. Her office is 2 doors down from mine here. And it was the biggest joy because, by the way, the nice thing, if you decide to work with your spouse, some advice for you guys out there. You guys have to do different things. Like, you have to be good at different things. If you're both, your core competencies are the same things, that's going to be a tough ride. My wife is really, really great at certain things, and I'm pretty good at certain things, but they're different things. So she runs operations here. She's uber organized. She's incredibly patient. She's very, very detail oriented. So she's designing a new campus. She meets with our designers and architects every day. I would kill me. My ADD would never allow me to do such things. I would lose my mind. She's our chief experiential officer. She launches all the events that we have, the Run a Gun Club, and all these things we do from an experiential standpoint. She does it. She's really creative. She can see the future before it happens and design it in her mind. I can't do that. I'm a finance person. I'm a strategy person. And so we have different skill sets, and that's what makes it great. And the last point I'll make is you have to trust the person and trust that they know what they're doing. I don't micromanage her. She doesn't micromanage me. We update each other just so we're in the loop, but you have to have the confidence. Like a husband and wife. If you're checking your husband or wife's phone to make sure they're not doing anything bad, then you have a problem. And there has to be a trust factor that says, I trust my spouse unconditionally. That's why you got married. If you don't have that trust factor, you should never got married. And so I trust my wife to be faithful to me. That's far more important than running our business. So of course I can trust her to help run our business.
Yeah. Like what has been the biggest lesson that you have learned in this particular company?
Yeah. Stay in the pocket. So I've used to boxing for a very long time. In
Wow.
boxing, there's an imaginary area with you and your competitor, you and your opponent. It's called the pocket. It's this area where you can hit your opponent, but your opponent can also hit you. The thing about the pocket is you can't win unless you're in the pocket because you can't reach your opponent. But all the pain and suffering happens here too. And being entrepreneurs the same way. You can't win unless you're there. But all the stress, sleepless nights, exhaustion, all that stuff comes from there. The entrepreneurs, just like the boxers, who can stay in the pocket the longest, endure it the most, wind up winning. Most entrepreneurs give up too soon, or they fail and they won't try it again. I've failed way more than I've succeeded. Now, we talk about the companies that we've had exits in and done well. We've had many companies that have struggled and haven't done well. I've failed at many things over. It's not about the failure. It's your ability to dust yourself off and do it again. Stay in that pocket. The longer you're able to maintain that space, the higher likelihood of your success. Elon Musk talked about this, how many multiple times Tesla was about to go bankrupt. Imagine if he would have given up. There was no Tesla, no SpaceX. All the stuff he's accomplished would have never been there. And every entrepreneur has similar stories where they were this close to failure, this close to losing their money, but they just never gave up. They took one more shot, one more shot. So I have even with Cymbiotika, this place has been our greatest accomplishment business-wise, and we're on fire, and we're doing all these great things. There's some days, Meredith, I get the crap kicked out of me. I have really bad days, and you
I
go
have
home, and it's
no doubt.
yeah, yeah, all of but this is one thing all of us out there who's watching this we can relate to. Everyone has really tough days, and you get the Jesus kicked out of you, and you feel like there's things can't get any worse, and somehow do. But the sun always comes out the next day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is always a new day. The sun comes out. And then can you go back to the office or back to work the next day with the same enthusiasm you had before you had the really bad day? That's the key. That no matter what happens, the bad day, the next day you got to come out swinging. with the same fire and passion you had before, and expect that great things will happen. And then they will. And they'll have this amazing run where you can't do no wrong and everything's fantastic. And so I've
So
learned that. I've learned that when the highs are too high, I don't get over my skis and start patting myself on the back. And when things don't go well, I don't go into a depression mode and kill myself over it. I just dust myself off and we do it again the next day.
I think being in good health would really help with that, and getting a good sleep and all of these things that we spoke about, right? With the resilience. I think,
And you said it earlier. I didn't want to cut you off. You said it so beautifully. Your physical well-being leads to your mental well-being. And you brought up mental health earlier. People forget about this, and especially tough guys like myself. We don't want to admit that mental health is an important thing, and it's the most important thing. But you can't be mentally healthy if your body's letting you down, and you can't get out of bed in the morning, and you've gotten overweight, and now you have diabetes and you have heart disease. How could you be mentally well when all of those things are happening? Get your body right, and then your mind will be so clear. I'm so pumped about it. People think that I take too much caffeine in, and I don't. I have one iced tea in the morning. I have one iced tea in the morning. This is my only caffeine the whole day.
that's
And
it.
but I'm just pumped. I'm
Iced
pumped all day
tea.
now. Iced tea,
That's
I love
pretty
that.
light.
Iced tea, I don't know why. It's the Persian in me. I have to have tea, and it's always warm here, so I make it iced tea. But I'm just pumped always because first thing I do in the morning, make my bed, work out, and by the time the day started, I've gotten a few things out of the way and I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm
Yeah.
gonna have a great day. Every morning, my wife and I come to work, I go, "On this is the day. It's gonna be a great day." Every day I
Yeah.
said, and she said it every day. I said every day. And some days it's a terrible day, but I always believe in my heart it's gonna be a great day.
It's really funny because we were talking about optimism recently, and I was like, optimism is really, it's quite selfish if you think about it, because I'm a very optimistic person, but I'm not stupidly optimistic, And I was
Yeah,
explaining to someone who is more of a negative person about what I think optimism is. And I think you will resound with this. I was like, optimism is looking to find the opportunity for you that serves you in any moment,
I love it.
right? It's as
I love
simple
it.
as that. I'm not
I
I'm
love
not
the
saying, right, you know what I mean? And when I
I
flipped
love
it
it.
like that and I made it opportunistic and I made it about them, they were like, "Oh, I never really thought about it like that." I'm like, "Yeah, that's all you got to do."
I love the definition. That's great.
But
You
it's
should you should
true.
trademark that. You better trademark that before it's amazing.
Oh, it's true. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, what selfishly, human beings, we are what's in it for me. That is how we work.
yeah,
That's how our body works. That's how our system works. That's how our
yeah.
microbiome works. Like that's
So
how it
true.
all works. So
It's so true.
be baseline, look for the good stuff, and get the benefit of that. I think it's
And
these simple framing. Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear your take.
you're totally right, and especially if you work with others.
Yeah.
So if you're in a business where you're on a team, I'm on a team, right? My title is CEO, but I feel like I work for everyone else here. My job is to remove obstacles for them. So my main job here is remove obstacles for them so that they can execute. They feed off of each other's and my energy. So you come in the office, and if you're not optimistic and you have this view of we're going to find some great opportunity to be successful today, it's going to be a good one. They feel that energy. And
Yeah.
conversely, I've had terrible days. So days that I walk in here, I'm not myself, and I can feel the entire mood of the company change because I walk around and I'm
I think
now
those
putting.
days you should go to the gym.
My wife's just funny. My wife will come up and goes, "You should go for a walk now." She'll tell me like, and I know I'm probably a little heated or had a bad call or something's happened, and I remove myself and I go for a walk in the back and reset because we're all connected. Energies,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm too spiritual here with the crowd, but energies are real. And
Yeah.
walk into a room, any room you can think of, you can feel positive or negative energy right away. Walk and be like, wow, what a vibe. I'm digging this place. Conversely, you walk into a place like feels down and stuffy and judgy. And I can really resonate with what you're saying. I agree.
I think it's important that these conversations without the woo-woo, because I'm also very energetic and I'm into meditation and all these things, but it's only to make myself a better person with an edge,
Yeah.
with a more clarity in my decision making. So it's that when you frame things as being selfish, I think those negative people like get on board a bit more because they're like, yeah, I'm the victim too. I'm selfish. It's kind of like reverse psychology in a way. But I
I
think it's
love it.
important
I'm
to
going to try
have
it
these
today.
conversations. I think it's really
I'm
important.
going to try it today with
Okay.
some people.
Yes, you go use that. You go use it. Listen, I'm going to end off with this one. In 20 years down the track, what do you want this brand to be remembered for?
Yeah. I want us to be a spark that changes the entire wellness business. So when they look back at what changed in health and wellness, why are so many companies transparent? Why are so many companies making great product with very little focus on profit and allowing the profit to come as opposed to focusing on product profit? I really believe we've forced the envelope with many of our competitors already. And the bigger we get, we're going to take people to task. We're going to have we're going to have 5 clinicals published this year. 2 of them are will be published next month of our own
Amazing.
post-product clinicals, which other companies don't do because they don't want to know the results. And we're forcing the hands of people. And the larger we get, even the larger supplement companies will be juxtaposed against us. And our customers will say, well, we stack Cymbiotika against you. How come you're not being transparent? How come you're selling capsules? How come it's synthetic? How come, I could search you and all this bad stuff pops up? We want to be able to press on them and say, we don't want you to go out of business. We want you to change the way you view things because there's plenty of customers for all of us, but you
Sure.
have to do it better. So I want us in 20 years to look back at Cymbiotika and say, Cymbiotika was the reason so many companies that changed the way they did their business. And as a result, people all over the world were healthy.
Okay, I just have to know before we go, who came up with the name?
My business partner did. He did. He,
No
he,
way.
he's really woo woo, as you call it, woo woo, and he says a lot of out there spiritual things. And he wanted to, he builds these products, and he's brilliant at what he does. He's a genius, and he builds these products that are symbiotic in relationships.
Yes.
All these
Yes,
things
I
work
totally,
together.
yes.
So when you look at the ingredients, like I said earlier, we don't have a 2 or 3 ingredient vitamin C. His name is Shervin. When Shervin makes these things, they have so many different components that are designed to work together. And I asked him one time why. He says, because there's no vitamin C food in nature. There's an orange in nature that you eat has vitamin C. But the reason your body can absorb it and use it properly is because all these things that Mother Nature put in this orange, your body uses to properly utilize the vitamin C. And
Yeah.
so in a symbiotic relationship, hence symbiotic.
No, it's really, really beautiful. And usually with branding, you steer away from these long names, but I feel like it's just, I don't know. I think
I complained about it, to
you
be
guys
honest with you.
nailed
For like 3 years, I complained about it because I went to business school and they tell you don't have names that are this long, have acronyms, and there's no acronym here, spelling that people recognize. To this day, we have people using S instead of the C. But you're right. The harder, the bigger we got, it actually became a benefit to us because
it.
it's so uniquely different than everything else. So I got to give them one eventually. After all these years, I give them a hard time. Maybe it's not so bad.
Oh my
But
God,
don't
I
tell
thought
them I
for
said.
sure it was your wife.
Well, my wife would have come out with something more creative, something better, but he did a good
No,
job too. We'll give
it's beautiful. Honestly, I'm just gonna say thank you so much, and I'm gonna stop
thank
this.
you.
I
Thank you for
just
having me. I really